cigar for use only for restricted celebratory purposes though. Not so sure about whiskey, I'm not a massive fan, or cigars for that matter, but I'll definitely be having a glass of wine. So what inspires me the most? Who does anyone inspire me? I mean, I'm trying to think of like some sort of medical figure, but I can't think of anyone who, personally inspires me. But yeah, I can't really think of an appropriate answer to that. What inspires me though? Maybe a what? I mean, it's a very good question, but probably one I maybe should have had to think about before I started answering. I'll tell you what, let's come back to that. Let my subconscious kind of mull that one over. Let's move on to the next one. I promise I'll come back to it though. Great question. Shalom and Jackie. Firstly, congrats mate. Thank you very much. I've got 2 questions. What was your first introduction or experience with ASMR? And secondly, who would win in a fight? 1 billion lions or the sun? 2 very different questions. Let's start with the second one, I think. Who would win a billion lions? Well, actually, I saw one of these like infographic things where they showed what all of the humans in the world looked like in just like a massive pile, and I think it was in comparison, like in the context of the Grand Canyon, and that was surprisingly small pile, big in comparison to like the skyscrapers, but I mean probably a drop in the ocean comparatively to the sun. So if that was 7 billion humans, I'd imagine a billion lions probably the sun probably would even notice it. I may be wrong though, but in answer to your question, what was your first introduction or experience with ASMR? I was about to say Ephemeral Rift because he was probably my first proper ASMR artist that I watched, but that's probably not true. Let me just move my phone out of the way. I don't know if you guys can see that. If you can, then I'll probably blurred out the screen. My first proper experience, because people talk about like back when they were kids and they used to get like haircuts at the barber and stuff, but I never really experienced kind of like tingles like that. I still don't really get ASMR in that way. What I do, rarely. Maybe I've kind of become desensitized to it to some degree. But my first experience that led me on the road down to discovering proper ASMR was like Pokemon card openings. So I remember when I was sort of like 16, 17, that's about 10 years ago now. Wow, that makes me feel old. But anyway, wow, that is actually 10 years ago. That is quite a damning realisation. Anyway, yeah, so I remember watching people opening Pokemon cards, and it was the sound of the packet and going through. It was like a mixture of the sounds and the texture of the things they were showing on camera, and I guess like the attention to detail people were making with opening and shuffling the cards, like when they put it in order for the certain rarity they're expecting from the cards, and also the nostalgia of Pokemon. It all just came with a nice mix, and I think that's probably the first time I experienced ASMR, and that led me to probably googling like what is this strange feeling or something, and eventually I came onto like Ephemeral Rift. But yeah, that was my first introduction, I'd say. Figmo42, where do you see the future of medicine in the next 15 to 20 years? Oh my god, I could write an essay for some of these questions. Great question as well. I tell you what, I wish I haven't had a thought about these, but I think it's actually more fun this way, and it also means I probably won't end up rambling for too long. Although I actually can't promise that. This is definitely going to be a multiple part. It's going to be like a series of videos. Where do I see the future of medicine? Well, I'm biased. I did a master's in genomic medicine, but I think genetics and genomics, and probably something to do with AI, or a mixture of the two, no doubt. AI will penetrate every facet of medicine loads of stuff that's really, really interesting. I'm particularly interested in things like communications for medicine, but in terms of what, like, if I was to think of a singular thing for the future of medicine, it would definitely be genetics. I mean, just look at the things with the advancements people have made with CRISPR-Cas9. I mean, it's incredible. And it's only really just started over the last sort of 10-20 years. So yeah, that's what I would say. Just to keep that short and snappy, that's the sort of question I could make an entire video on. Ooh, that's an idea. But anyway, Haribos, do you play any musical instrument, and what kind of music do you listen to? I do play an instrument. I play the guitar. Not so much as I used to. I've got a couple of electric guitars and a couple of acoustic guitars. I'm more of an acoustic type guy. I don't play it particularly well, and that's kind of reflected in the music that I listen to. I don't like to say folk music because people then think I listen to like country music, which is not true. More like alternate, like Bon Iver. I'll tell you the sort of bands I'm into. Yeah, Bon Iver, Ben Howard, like Mumford and Sons. I mean, they're proper folk, but I actually listen to all sorts of stuff. I really like all sorts of things. I go through like phases of like certain types of music, and then just music in general. Like, I've not really listened to music. I'm not like put on Spotify my liked playlist or whatever for a while. Yeah, I don't know. But then if I'm working, I'll put music on. But then if I'm working, I'll probably listen to classical music. Yeah, it really depends. If I'm at the gym, I'll listen to. Actually, the last time I went to the gym, I think I was listening to like ASMR videos, which is weird. But anyway, but yeah, I'll usually listen to something a bit more upbeat. I don't like pop, really, like current pop. I sound like my parents now, but the current music, really, like the top 40, actually just gets on my nerves. I do quite like some artists, but the majority of like mainstream ones, they just kind of get on my nerves a little bit. That's probably the only type of music I wouldn't listen to unless it was like on in the car or something. Other than that, I listen to most stuff. Also, ASMR, congrats bro, what are your microphone settings? Good question. It's currently on the like, I switch between the all-round one or the mono one. I don't know, the stereo one. I don't know which one it is. The one where you can hear it equally in both ears. I'll use the equally in both ears one where it like doesn't use the microphones around the edge. If there's a lot of background noise, but at the moment there's not too much like noise in my room. Like I've got pillows kind of around my PC, so there shouldn't be that much noise. But I also, when I'm doing ASMR, I have it on the lowest gain setting, just because it means you can get nice and close to the microphone, and it picks up much less background noise and stuff. But yeah. Footy Facts ASMR. If you could spend 1 hour with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Another one I wish I'd had time to think about. Also, congrats on the 5k when you hit it, which I did 200 subs ago actually. That shows you how long it's taken me to make this video. But 1 hour with one person, dead or alive. Oh my god. See, these are all questions. I hate the idea that I'm going to say something and then later on I'll think, oh my god, why didn't I think about, I don't know, Winston Churchill or something more like insightful. I doubt it will be, I tell you what, I doubt it would be like a huge historic figure, because I get the sense that I'd sit down with them, like for example, I really respect, I mean, in some, you know, he's obviously, he's a bit polarising, but like Christopher Hitchens, also any football players who grew up in your town or city. I only know one player that grew up in my town, which is Danny Rose, the former Spurs player. Wait, did he? Maybe he grew up in Doncaster, which is where my family's from. I actually can't remember. Maybe he didn't then. Anyway, best 11. Yeah, that's a long question. That's a long one. Maybe I'll pick a 5-a-side rather than first 11. I might just pick my favourite players. Favourite goalkeeper. God, Neuer. I mean, watching him as a young football fan was pretty amazing because he was quite different to every other goalkeeper. I'll pick one defender. Favourite ever defender. Paolo Maldini. I remember watching him as like a 8, 9, 10-year-old and being amazed. Really one of the players that got me into football. Midfielders, David Beckham and Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes, my favourite player ever. David Beckham was just amazing. I mean, he got me into national football really. And up front, Fernando Torres, again, just on his day back when, before the Chelsea days, he was incredible. And yeah, he also really got me into football. Yeah, I hope that's sufficient, otherwise I'll be here forever. Liam and Duffy, congrats on the 5k, thanks bro. What height are you, and what type of music do you listen to? So I already answered the second part, but height, I wonder if you guys can tell, I am 5'6". I'm a very, very short man, and that is the result of my dad, who is also 5'6", and my mum, you would think, medically is classified as like a pygmy. No, that's not true. She's like 5. No, she's not. She's 4'11". And so yeah, she's very short, much like myself. Noah365, and apparently you are a top commenter based on that little thing there. Who do you think is the best young footballer at the moment? Erling Haaland, definitely. Or no, yeah, Erling Haaland. I'm about to say Phil Foden, but no. Mbappe is amazing, but Erling Haaland just has something special about him. Tom Katz, kind of late, but what inspired you to start the survival Minecraft server? My love for Minecraft, really. I suppose I had my single player survival back 2 Christmases ago, is when I started it. I think November 2019 I started that, or October, around then. And it got, for my size back then as a YouTuber, quite a lot of views. And I think somebody asked me if I'd considered starting a server, and I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, I gave it a little bit of thought, and I think at the time I couldn't make community posts because I only had like 200 subscribers or something. And I just thought, oh, screw it, let's go for it. I think I started my Discord at that time as well. Maybe I had a bit more, maybe more like 500 subscribers. I really can't remember. It was quite a while ago, pardon me. But yeah, I mean that turned out to be quite successful, and yeah, that's probably the thing I'm most proud about for with my channel. Andres Ravenal, what are your favourite videos to film? Gaming, medicine, paperworks. Paperworks. Does that mean like medicine? Oh, is that one thing? Medicine, paperworks, as in like revising. Love from Chile, awesome. Cheers, dude. Favourite videos to film? Depends on my mood. Honestly, I'm not backing out the question. It's just true. I would say in general, probably gaming. Yeah, probably gaming. Medicine, it's too much of an overlap with just what I associate as work these days. If I'm tired, put it this way, yeah, if I'm tired, I won't be making medicine videos. I can make gaming whenever I want, whether I'm, tired, energetic, happy, sad, whatever. I can make it, and I'm always enjoying making it. Medicine, however, I have to be energetic and I have to be interested. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good video. Good question. Sondre, how long are you planning on posting videos on this definitely competitive, but not in the same way. Everyone's got the same goal, which is like helping people, which is always, almost always wholesome. You get the odd arsehole, don't get me wrong, but generally speaking, it's an incredibly nice environment to be in. Yeah. I never said this in my interview. That's not true. I did say it in one interview. I said it in my interview at St George's Hospital or University, and I didn't get a place. It might have been due to this, but it's a economically or financially stable job to have. I can't see doctors losing their jobs for anything other than incompetency for the next 100 years, until AI becomes incredible. Touch wood, obviously. Pays well, you get flexibility. If you have a degree in medicine, you immediately are seen as capable of doing many things, which may or may not be true. Let me tell you that there are some people, perhaps including myself, who may find themselves overqualified for what they deserve, but at least it puts you in a good position. So yeah, it's a good degree to have, if you know what I mean, even if you don't want to do medicine. What made you start an ASMR channel? Well, I started it with the view of making almost exclusively medicine videos, because the reason I started was because I wanted to revise medicine and listen to medical videos, because I already really enjoyed ASMR, but I wanted to mix it with being productive. But no one really, literally no one made medical videos. I still think, there's one other guy. What is his name? It's like SNP ASMR or something like that. I can't remember. I have to search it up. He's got quite a lot of subscribers now, but I don't think he was around at the time. But there were like people doing cranial nerve exams, which usually are not accurate, or people like flipping through like a anatomy textbook or something. I wanted people to actually be trying to teach like educational ASMR, like the French Whisperer, Let's Find Out ASMR, those types of guys. But they mainly did like physics and like historical subjects. There's nothing really for medicine, and that's what I make myself. It kind of defeated the point, because I wanted to consume that content, and I don't watch my own videos for obvious reasons. So ended up not really solving the issue. Maybe it helped other people. But yeah, that's why I started an ASMR channel. It evolved into mostly gaming though. Leonardo, that was Kai P, by the way, I don't know if I said your name. Leonardo Glacius, kinda late, but is it true that people with colour blindness can't study medicine to become a doctor? I don't think that's true. Maybe it is, I actually don't know. I don't know. I can see why that could be true, like the labels on bottles and things like that, but bottles, what we like medieval medicine, like the caps to certain medications and stuff, but is like I want to enjoy my life, and being constantly on call, working, I feel like you have to dedicate your life to medicine. And as much as I wish I was the kind of person who could do that, I don't think I would enjoy my life as much as I think I would if I was doing that. So what I've started recently thinking about the last year or so is completely different. I think it would be nice to do general practice. I think it's interesting, but also it gives you the flexibility to do other things, like, for example, stuff on YouTube. You have the time in the evenings and the mornings, potentially, the odd day off, if you work locum especially, to do creative projects, which I love doing, or anything else that your mind comes up with. If I had to choose my exact career now, it would be working in a GP with maybe 3 or 4 days a week, or at least the flexibility to do so, and also have a role in sports and exercise medicine. I think it would be so cool to work as a doctor for a football team. Something about it just seems super cool. I'd love to give it a go. I don't know about the practicalities of it. I've got into contact with a couple of football clubs, Doncaster Rovers and Swindon here, and they sound like they actually are quite happy for medical students to come down and have a look, have a chat, see what it's like to give a player a medical or something, or like sit on the touchline waiting for something to happen. But I don't know if it's possible. You might have to have loads and loads of experience, but that would be like my ideal setup right now, I think. But I'm sure that when I get into foundation years, my ideas and my desires will probably change. Okay, and final question, because we actually do have. Oh, we only have 2 more. Oh, come on, we can get through these then. Okay. The thing in ground. Actually, no, we won't do these 2. Because I'll do another one. I'll do a part 2 with the other questions from the other post. So, thing in ground. If you could choose one aspect of medicine / medical procedure to be revolutionised and perfected, then what would it be? I might have laid that out weirdly. Okay. I told you I'd have a think about this one. I didn't. Sorry. But actually, it ties in nicely with the question from before, doesn't it? To be revolutionised and perfected. A medical procedure. That's cool. Well, I best be careful how I answer this, because if I could pick like a medical procedure or something to be perfected, up to what end is it perfected? I would say I'd have to go with genetics again. I would have to say, if you could perfect, and by perfect I'll lay out some framework to that rather than just saying it's now perfect, because you could really take that in any direction you want, like the sequencing of genomes. So there's currently some very